We would all like to be free. I mean, obviously in a physical sense, no one wants to be Shawshank Redemptioned. But also, we like feeling like we're free. We like this idea that we're in control of our lives and no one gets to tell us what to do. But what does it really mean to be free? Or in Friedrich Nietzsche's terms, what does it mean to be a free spirit? To answer that, we're going to go through how Nietzsche describes the journey of the free spirit. And by the end, you'll know if you yourself are a free spirit. So this is all coming from the introduction to Nietzsche's work, Human All Too Human. He starts by saying that these so-called free spirits don't really exist, but they're imaginary friends to him. Okay, that's a little mean. It's more like they're an imaginary target audience for him that he's writing to. Because who else would a guy like Nietzsche be writing to that would possibly live up to his expectations? Such free spirits do not really exist and never did exist, but I stood in need of them, as I have pointed out, in order that some good might be mixed with my evils. Now, although these free-spirited people don't exist in Nietzsche's time, nor have existed before him, according to him at least, he claims that he notices that they may be coming. He prophesizes their arrival. So he believes, to help expedite the process, he'll explain to us how one of these free spirits come about, so that we may possibly walk that path. I see them already coming. Slowly, slowly. May it not be that I am doing a little something to expedite their coming, when I describe in advance the influences under which I see them evolving, and the ways along which they travel. Before one attains the title of free spirit, one starts as an everyday person, a part of the crowd, a person, quote, chained to its place and pillar. Now, what is the central idea that fills this person's heart? Duty. That reverence, which in youth is most typical, that timidity and tenderness in the presence of the traditionally honored and the worthy, that gratitude to the soil from which we sprung, for the hand that guided us, for the relic before which we were taught to pray. Now, Nietzsche mentions youth here, but I actually think people are kind of rebellious and contrarian when they're young. Not like elementary school age, I'm talking like the rebellious teen years. But even then, elementary school kids like to act up and break the rules, so I don't know. I actually see a sense of duty belonging more to the elderly, since they've lived a life of experience, and have carried what worked in life for them with them. But maybe Nietzsche is talking about a more metaphorical youth, someone in the early stages of becoming a free spirit. But ask yourself now, what relics are you praying to that you were taught to pray to? And no, this is not strictly religious. Were you taught to worship your country, to have a strong sense of patriotism? Were you taught not to tell lies? Generally speaking, we may say that's a moral thing, but regardless, it's something imposed on us by someone else that we then adhere to and worship like a god. So next, Nietzsche talks about how they'll eventually become disillusioned in these gods of theirs, whatever they may be. But this shift is not a slow, gradual, and careful skepticism, but an immediate and shocking rejection. A sudden dread and distrust of that which they loved, a flash of contempt for that which they called their duty, a mutinous, willful, volcanic-like longing for a faraway journey, strange scenes and people, annihilation, petrification, a hatred surmounting love. Let me use myself as an example. Back when I was very young, my parents would force me to go to church. I think it was a Presbyterian and then Unitarian and then a Unity Christian church, something like that. And when I was very young, I followed and obeyed all of that. I even gave $20 of my own allowance to the church, which is a lot for a kid back in the 2000s. This represents, to Nietzsche, the first stage of being tied to that pillar. Then in 6th grade, I took a hard left turn, and I mean a hard left turn, in a very cringy way. I became an atheist, but almost in a religious sense. Me and my friends would say things like, atheism bless you instead of God bless you. Look, I was in 6th grade, don't tell me you didn't do anything cringy back then either. And I looked back at my mindless, obedient Christian days with disdain and disgust. And it follows what Nietzsche says about this second stage. Perhaps a sacrilegious impulse and look backwards, to where they so long prayed and loved. Perhaps a flush of shame for what they did, and at the same time, an exultation in having done it. An inner, intoxicating, delightful tremor in which is betrayed the sense of victory. So Nietzsche does also mention this longing for new things, new people, and new experiences. You want to flee from what you've been brought up with. You want to live anew. So for me, when college came around, I went all the way across the country. I was in a new environment with new people, and I felt free from the shackles of the old, in a sense. But this isn't so much a process of affirming the new as it is rejecting the old. Because why stop there? You've already rejected and critiqued the old. Why not also critique the new that comes your way? If you've truly harnessed the power of skepticism to destroy your old idols, what's stopping you from destroying any new idols that you come across? To hell with idols or ideas or truth for that matter. To hell with everything. But when you reject everything, what are you left with? solitude, that dread goddess, and mater saeva cupidinum encircles and besets him, ever more threatening, more violent, more heartbreaking. But who today knows what solitude is? Now, Nietzsche does mention that there is a middle ground in all this escape of past beliefs towards ultimate freedom, and that seems to be the free spirit. But how do you work between these two extremes? A blind obedience on the one hand, and a rejection of everything on the other. Well, after going on this journey from one extreme to the next, one may slip up during their streak of rejection and actually appreciate something in life. It doesn't have to be large or life-changing, but something in life that you could actually like. Outside of the boundaries of right and wrong, good and evil, beautiful or ugly, none of that matters right now. All that matters is your own human perspective towards this thing. Who so well as he appreciates the fact that there comes balmy weather even in winter, who delights more in the sunshine athwart the wall. They are the most appreciative creatures in the world, and also the most humble. These convalescents and lizards, crawling back towards life. There are some among them who can let no day slip past them without addressing some song of praise to its retreating light. Now, I wouldn't say that Nietzsche is telling you to find new idols in life or anything like that, but you get to choose your idols instead of having society or whatever force them upon you. And idols might not even be the right word, because you're free to discard them at your will. You're in control, just like when you were rejecting the world, but now you've allowed aspects of this world to make a meaningful impact on your life. It's like driving a car. You can reject the car, after all it's not a perfect machine, and what? Is society making me drive this car? Screw that then. But you could also be in control of whether or not you want to drive. You can accept that it's an imperfect machine, and yet can still bring benefit to your life. You set the terms on how this thing is going to impact your life, not society, and yet you let it impact your life nonetheless. Hopefully that analogy worked. If not, feel free to leave a really hateful comment below. But that's going to do it for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Comment below if you're a free spirit, and I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day.